We're live.
Great. And we have more people coming in. I can see there's already 3 here. Great to see you.
Yep. Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, we're just going to hang on for a second, see if there's a couple more joining us before we start off. And it's good to see you, Polly, Peter. It's great that you're here.
Okay. Welcome, Althea.
So should we start slowly to get going? And Polly says hello, Polly. Great. I think we should just get started, Nicole, because I think people joining us, I can see there's activity in the background, so they'll drop in, I think.
Yeah.
But hello and welcome, dear Maverick, to From Struggle to Success, the 10 proven steps used by Maverick leaders to create Agile People Strategy. We are Nicole and Michael, and we are on a mission to help Maverick leaders to unleash their magical potential of their people, so they can build businesses that not only make profit, but also makes a positive impact on people, community, and the planet.
And yes, that human magic. We are going there. We are saying magic. And what that means, it's that undeniable, that special thing that brings your brand values to life. The kind of magic from your team that turns those boring, regular, standard sequence of services into extraordinary guest experiences. That is what we're wanting to achieve right now. That is what we want to focus on. We are so thrilled that you've decided to join us today, and we just can't wait to get started. So get us rolling. Just tell us a little bit of where you're from and one fun fact about you, just so we can get to know you a little bit more. And whilst you're typing in your answers, we'll just share a little bit about ourselves. Michael, you go first, I think.
Yeah. So for people that don't know and the strange accents, I'm originally from Denmark, now live in Brighton in the UK. My favorite treat is pizza. And I also am an avid runner, and I try to run almost every day, but sometimes can be quite hard. And I love to get up early in the morning. It would be best if we can start at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. Oh, no, I am not all about getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't love to get up early in the morning. I preferably after 10 a.m. and 2 cups of coffee. So, but I am macaron obsessed. Those little French sweet treats, the posh and creative kind, like Ladurée, and those from the Green Monkey in Barbados, yum. And fun fact, I flew up from Antigua in the Caribbean, where I normally work, to sit right next to this Maverick here to do this webinar with you guys today.
Great. I can see the couple in. You see Polly, it's great to have you here. Joel has also joined. Thank you for coming on. And Peter Avis, yeah.
Hello, Maverick.
The Maverick GM at heart. Yeah, it's great to have here you as well. We have Martin for Big Picture here. Great to have you, Martin. Long time no see.
Hi there.
Another Maverick that's trying to change our thinking about how we can engage with our people. Welcome, Martin. And Polly is also jumping in here. She works with leadership and coaching. And yeah, I know you're doing some great work to help leaders to get the essential tool to manage the pressure that is in the world today.
Oh, Polly, good luck. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to keep our fingers crossed for you that you hear back from that estate agent that you get the space that you need.
So in this webinar today, we have 3 core promises to you. We, of course, will take you through the 10 proven steps of Agile People Strategy so you can learn that. We will also dive in to discover new and uncommon ways of free the full potential of your people so they can help your business stand out from the pack. And we're also gonna look into other insights and Maverick stories from the real world, and we're gonna share that with you. But also remember, if you haven't yet downloaded your bonus, we'll just drop that now in the chat box. You can get that down so you can make some note as we go along. We'll see here. It should be there in a second. So again, this we are Mavericks, but not techies. You can see, but we'll be there in a second. There we go. Here it is. I think it
Okay.
should come
Yep.
true to people that doesn't have it now. But also, we will, of course, we want you to stay all the way through. That's obvious. But there is something in the end you should hang around for. We will give you a chance to sign up something amazing action learning in 2024. We are launching a small and selected group of Maverick leaders that gonna explore more around how we actually can build amazing agile people strategies. We'll be back on that, so stick around, and there'll be more of that in the end of the webinar. Ready? Here we go.
So just a quick one, no distraction zone. We know what it's like, especially for those of you who've taken the time out of operations, particularly at this time as we're heading into the festive season. We know it can be crazy. So, but this is your gift to yourself, right? There's 60 minutes just to take that pause away from the busyness. So turn off or silence your phone, close the tabs on your computer, the amount that you have open, like you're a trader in the stock exchange. Put that do not disturb sign out, do anything that you need to do just to give yourself that clear headspace and time to be able to absorb some of these Maverick insights we're sharing with you, because there's going to be lots that you can take away immediately, and not just to be looking forward to 2024, but you can use immediately in your business. Stick with us.
So we're we're super glad you're here, and you are actually very interested in learning how you make people strategy that really set you apart from the pack, but also give you that edge you're looking for. And Nicole and I have been talking a lot and been creating new ways to share, what can we learn from these Maverick lessons? And it's quite a journey we've been on, and we're really excited about starting to share some of these learnings. So to be super clear, if you are here and you sound like some of the followings, you're in the right place, 100%. But if you're just curious and leave a little bit of Maverick, you're also welcome too. Yeah. You're in the right place if you're an owner or operator that's actually just feels trapped and tired in firefighting, of recruitment, retention challenges, and people issues in your business. You're also in the right place if you are a Maverick-minded operation leader who wants to discover fresh ideas, uncommon ways to free the full potential of your people and build, of course, a profitable and resilient and sustainable business. Which one resonates with you the most? Please write in the comment box again and let us know what your thinking is, and also where you see yourself. We will, for whatever reason you're here, we will, of course, be here to support you on your journey to create an agile people strategy. And we will help you putting our proven framework into work, so it can actually do the game-changing things you need right now to navigate the new era of hospitality. We can't wait to show you how. You already made a huge step to be here today, and we really appreciate your valuable time to be here. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder. Let me just see what people said here, Nicole, before we jump on. There's Joel from Antigua. Yeah, looking to learn creative ways to support our awesome team. Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
And there's any more, I think we just jump on, and then we'll just keep an eye on the comment box, Nicole, and we get into the meaty bit now.
I mean, that's the reason why you're here. So we want to jump right in. So we're going to keep it short, just a little bit. Why us? The combination that is Michael and Nicole. We have a combined 50 years of hospitality experience, openings, turnarounds, owning and running hospitality supporting businesses, from luxury hospitality brands to resorts, private islands, restaurants, big box brands, catering. We've actually worked in them, led people teams, led the implementation of training and technology. And whilst we've done this, but we realized early in our journey that we were frustrated with the limitations of conventional business models and HR practice. We realized, well, hang on a second, something is not right. We're not getting the full potential out of people. We hear a lot about it, but somehow it's just not working. So we decided, we're actually going to do something about it. As opposed to being upset and complaining, we decided to do something about it. And what that meant is that we have decided to turn orthodox business practices and models on its head. Conventional HR practices, we said, done with that. Because we realize despite all that we're hearing, people are our greatest asset, all this lovely stuff. It was really time to put the human back in HR and the humanity back in hospitality front and center. And that is how we have come together around this idea to share with you today. There's a lot of well-meaning advice out there. Oh my gosh, the fact that you guys are here, and for those of you later on who will listen into this, we know there's so much advice, but there's a lot of well-meaning advice with theory, and not necessarily people who've actually done it or been in it. And we have, not bragging, but we have skin in the game. We have had successes. We've had successes ourselves and on behalf of our clients. We have actually transformed teams from ordinary to extraordinary. And we've made a ton of mistakes. And these mistakes have turned into the valuable lessons. So we're wanting to share those. So hopefully you don't have to make those mistakes too, so you can jump and get ahead. So it's not to brag, right? It's just, we are here. Our advice and guidance is based on real world experience.
And we met back in 2016, quite random, and we joined forces to find these new ways because we could see we're on the same journey. So we founded the Hospitality Maverick movement, a movement for building hospitality businesses that just think differently and more orthodox than others. The journey has led us to collaborate on a number of things, writing ventures, projects, decoding what successful Hospitality Mavericks know and do, more importantly, do. And we are sharing some of these with you today. And friends,
let's jump in.
We are at a tipping point. These are some of the many challenges facing you out there. We know that, perhaps even keeping you awake at night. Some of them definitely keep me awake. And it's rough out there right now. Old ways are broken, and it will not bring the results and reassurance they did in the past, even more so post-pandemic. And it's never been harder to stand out from the crowd, to create a unique guest experience consistently, be distinctive in a niche market, to generate profit and impact. Doing what you always have done will not protect your business or team as we go forward. The strategies and tactics that brought you success in the past cannot guarantee you success today, and focusing on the wrong thing will not ensure that your position remains strong in the market. You need to be prepared for the next storm, and we know we've seen lots of black swans coming, and there will be others coming. Pandemics, we're talking about AI, political and social shifts, and suddenly naturally or man-made disasters. And what are you going to do about it? You can't sit duck. And today we'll talk you through how you can tackle these challenges and actually get yourself to a place and fit for purpose in a new era of hospitality. You need to shift gear today. So go from unprepared and fragile state to, in a turbulent business landscape, to position of preparedness, agility, and strength. And of course, we all know these stats. They're scary ones: staff shortages, rising costs, turnover challenges. And also our research confirmed that there's actually lack of people strategy out there. Only 33% have this. And we know an understaffed operation where you're stocked and tired, you're trapped in a vicious firefighting circle. You know this, you're feeling it too maybe. It's a battle that few would win, if any. And how do you escape that firefighting cycle? It's counterintuitive because you want to increase profitability, but you have to start with your biggest assets and actually unleash that untapped potential within them and put them to the forefront of the battle. And that's your people.
And it's funny, just before we came on, Michael, you shared with me, was it one of your colleagues?
Yeah, there's a post for an Instagram somebody sent to me.
Yeah. And then also as well, someone is like, it's coming up to festive. It's coming up to the holiday season. And if you're not staffed up exactly how you need to be staffed up to be able to deliver that experience or to cover your service or cover your operation, I can imagine some sleepless nights happening, So we're here to tackle how you can start to move that process to come out of that. So we seen all these stats, but we decided something is like, okay, what is actually going on behind these stats? And we then took on our own research, and you've seen that we have written 3 papers, and also, Michael, you're on you have your Hospitality Mavericks podcast, and we wanted to make sure we understood exactly what is going on. And these lessons and these learnings that we've actually packaged together to help you move your business forward with your people at the center of all of this.
You can't handle the truth.
We believe you can handle the truth, right? That's why you're here today. And the thing is, we've seen it time and time again, working with hospitality clients from all over the world before and after the pandemic, that the complaints that we have people problems, they're people issues, they're staffing issues. We don't say this to hurt you, but what we have found is more often than not, you don't have a people problem, you have a strategy problem. And this is where we have to get to the heart of that. And I think we're distracted when we keep saying that we have people problems or staffing issues. Let's get back to what it is. This is a business, and it's a business strategy that you need to sort out. And some of the things that we have found that is really just, completely put businesses in a challenging situation and not even able to get ahead when we know by rights the model, the concept is brilliant. There's some certain things here, an unclear strategy with an unclear business strategy, lack of clarity in purpose and direction. The mission and the values are all over the place. It cannot connect. Your people cannot connect with it. You're too comfortable with the status quo. You're dusting off that 5-year business plan and just making some tweaks. And when you know it's not quite right, it wasn't right before the pandemic, and certainly isn't right now. And then the biggest challenge that we found when we started working with clients, and we asked them, show us your people strategy so we can get in there to start to help you. And what they do show us, what it is, it's a 1-year operational plan. It is not a strategy. It's just a few, it's tactics put together, compensation, manning guide, old school, kind of staffing, and a little bit of recruitment and maybe a smattering of training. It's not a strategy. There is a difference. And we're going to tell you exactly what that difference is, so how you can actually focus and get out of this mess. So the good news is we want to cut through all the excuses and confusion. Michael and I, we're kind of known to be very direct, but we do it with care. We do it with love because we know we're, the beloved, our hospitality industry and any kind of hospitality related business. Like, we know there's, the people, no matter how we twist and turn it, people are at the center. Like healthcare, hospitality, the business model is based on people. It's not tools, it's not technology, it is people. So let's cut through the excuses and the confusion, and let's get straight to the heart of the matter. You're here on this webinar because you care, and you're here on this webinar because you're actually daring to think different to persistent problems. And that means, on some level, we have to change, and that is hard. So we're going to make that landing a little bit softer with that change, and to give you just a roadmap and a plan to be able to make that change at your own pace.
So we are introducing the Maverick way today to you, which is the way to create an agile people strategy. And if you're anything like us, you like to know where you are going and what is coming next. So let me walk through some quick steps that we're going to take today to cover, what we're talking about when we talk about agile people strategy. First, we're going to talk about strategy. Nicole just touched on it before, because understanding this is absolutely critical for your success. What it is and what a Maverick twist of it looks, of course. And when it comes to creating a unique, profitable, resilient hospitality business from the inside out, having a clear strategy is essential. It takes away the stress and confusion about where to start and where to go. It puts you in the optimum position to take your business from fragile to agile, from surviving to thriving, from shaky to sustainable. And next, we'll, in step 2, go through the Maverick belief system. Now you might be scratching your head and wondering why it's important creating agile people strategy that helps your business survive and thrive, and talk about beliefs. When it comes to overcoming outdated business practices and mindset that no longer serve your business or your team or you today, the Maverick belief system is key, because what successful Mavericks know and do is extremely important, because it allows you to create and break through the status quo and the systems and the thinking you're surrounded by today. And then we will take you to the next step, which is asking potent question. And you could call it being very direct and go very deep. But it's all about actually uncover, what are the real truths of the situation. And then we will take you to the 10th step, the people strategy framework we have created. And here you have the opportunity to already start to plot in some things on that path. And you'll probably find out that actually helps you bridge all those things that maybe are not connected today. And that's the whole idea. So you actually can start building that edge that makes you stand out from the others. And of course, we're going to spice that up or put the garnish on top and actually share a couple of Maverick stories that tells about how Mavericks are actually using this framework to build a business that stands out, is profitable, and makes impact. Good. Let's jump in. So, what is strategy and what isn't it? That's something that's been very interesting. And we have found another Maverick. We got quite inspired by this journey here. So we haven't come up with everything ourselves. But strategy has two key jobs: identify and decide what is the right things to do. And then, of course, get people to do it. So again, thank you, Alex H. Schmidt from the No BS Clear Thinking About Strategy. Check out his blog, Basic Arts, and get his book. And if you sign up to the newsletter, there will be a link to the book in tomorrow's newsletter.
And what we loved about Alex's work is, and I'm sure all of you, you've seen there's so much out there with regards to business strategy. What is strategy? Just so much. What Alex did, and it resonated with us, it's like, let's again cut through the fluff, get to the heart of the issue. So interesting thing about this, most businesses, and probably most of you listening, if you're on the road to a strategy or you have a strategy, you've identified and decided on the right things to do. The missing element is actually the part of building into your strategy how to motivate people to actually contribute to that strategy and deliver on it. And this is where most strategies fail miserably. It looks great, it's glossy, it's bound, it's fantastic, but then it's not happening. And how many strategies that we all know, we've either maybe created them ourselves or been in businesses, they just have failed because it's missing the people part, how to motivate people to actually do it. And this is where Mavericks actually lean in. They have all the same stuff that we're familiar with, and you will see that you're like, this is not surprising. But again, as Michael said, it's that know and do, and what they know and do with that knowledge and how they activate their people that's where the Maverick, that's where the difference is. And that's why their businesses are surviving and thriving when so many are failing in the current times that we're in. But first off, the bottom line is this: you must humanize your strategy. Simple, not just because you're doing an HR strategy or not because it's a people strategy, your whole business strategy, but then focus on your Agile People strategy. A few things I just want us, Michael and I, we've got some banned words, okay? They're like swear words. Let's banish a few of these standard phrases and words. Human or otherwise, no human asset, stop that. No human capital, we stop that. Talent, head count. These are trying to dehumanize people, make them into simple line items that can fit into a spreadsheet. As you know, we all know it for real. No matter what's, when you look at your profit and loss or your business, human beings defy being confined to the spreadsheet. And historically, us trying to treat human beings like assets or capital or talent, inanimate objects in a spreadsheet. And that's where we haven't had the opportunity to help free people's full potential. And that's where Mavericks have actually found the way to do that. Because yes, it's all about profit. It's all about being unique. It's all about being resilient, but it's all about how they activate people to do that. And that's what we want to share with you. So this is a counterintuitive, unconventional approach to strategy design. And you start with the people, you start with the promises that you make to your market. And that's where we jump in.
So the Mavericks like these, you're probably familiar with some of these brands, the founders and CEOs, and actually the two founders of Pizza Pilgrim just got an award the other night for being the one that have shown most leadership the last year in hospitality in the UK. Really interesting. And it's very interesting how they went on stage. You should Google that. That was definitely a Maverick appearance on stage. And often many leaders I meet are hungry to become like them. or learn what they are doing, because you notice they often have, almost zero competitors, because they are unique in the way they do hospitality and the way they run their businesses. And I've been fortunate enough to actually meet a lot of those, and still meet them, and interview and actually get into their brains, and actually trying to understand, not just their beliefs, but also their behaviors. And what is that really, make them so special? They have fans internally and externally. They often charge a premium for their products and guest experiences, and you are happy to pay it. And they're respected in their niche and beyond. You can take Singerman's, have a training academy school where they actually are training people from other industries, from engineering to banking and so on. And they're a hospitality business by blood. Then through a recession and tough times we're in now, you will see they have huge amount of fans that will come and spend their hard-earned money at them. Their fans stay with them and support them. They all have at least 1,000 fans. They probably have more. And they're not just making profit, they're also making huge impact on what I said in the beginning: people, community, and the planet. Is in their blood. So when it's challenging, these people thrive. They don't have the same devastating staff challenges. Not to say they don't have any, but they're still not plagued by the revolving door of people struggling to recruit and retain employees. And of course, don't you want those business benefits that actually you are struggling less, at least. And we found some groundbreaking insights while researching these Mavericks and how they operate their business, how they think, and again, as I say, what they do. And that's the difference that sets them apart from their peers, because we can all think these things. These can be read. There's books about it. There's webinars about it. There's a webinar today, but it's about what you do with the insight you have. And we distilled that down to the framework we're going to take you through, and we created some things that will potentially also create a bit of magic in your business. So remember, pen and paper. We are now coming to some of the key things.
So step one, we're trying to give you just the ingredients to start to create your own formula, or to reinforce what you already suspected in your not just your head, but in your heart, in your guts. You know this. Know that you are on the Maverick trail. You are absolutely in the right place. So first off, Mavericks, every single one that we have either Michael has interviewed or we've researched, they all have this. It's that clear intent. It's that belief system. And it's that unshakable belief that people are at the center. It's not paying lip service into those stock phrases of people are our greatest asset, or that kind of it's in the board report. No, it actually, they have built their business from the inside out, as opposed to from the outside in. The outside in, the traditional model, it's kind of looking at what the market needs, what the customer is saying, and build the business around that. They understand what the market needs, but then they pause looking outside and they start to look inside and start to build the team and the structure to be able to meet what the market needs and blow the market away. That is the difference. So that starts with the belief. And we love the one of the ultimate iconic OG Mavericks, Danny Meyer. And, his quote, but then I want to bring it into a nutshell: show hospitality to your employees first, so that the quality of your culture and workplace determines the quality of your customer experience and loyalty levels, which determines your ability to deliver consistent business results and the need for profitability and cash that every business needs. So it's not woo-woo, it's all about the business. But understanding, particularly in hospitality or any business that wants to kind of snag some of that hospitality magic, it has to be with your people. They're the ones who deliver that guest experience. It's not AI. Well, not yet anyway. So it is really important that you do this. So we've just wrapped it into the nutshell. Thank you, Danny Meyer. It's hospitality begins in-house. And that start with that. And in so many things, what we're going to show you is just to break down some of these concepts into little nuggets that you can just be dropping to your team and dropping to yourself. And one of these, write it down, please. Hospitality begins in-house. So they believe that putting people first, it is their most powerful lever. And they're the ones, if they put people first, they're the ones who have not had the challenges to bounce back after the pandemic. They're not scrabbling to find staff. The staff that if they had to make those hard decisions to lay off people, their staff are waiting to come back. What a difference. I'm sure you want some of that difference too. So this means that you need to face some facts and not indulge in fairy tales or assumptions. Mavericks ask potent questions. And this is ingredient number 2. The power of asking potent questions. Now, when we say potent questions, and you've all sat in meetings, you know what this is like, and everyone, you know, the head of whatever puts up an idea or puts up the strategy or or a campaign we're going to do for the season or whatever else. And inside there's a few other who knows that there are holes in that plan or whatever, and nobody speaks up. Now we know that could be a case of making sure that the culture is there. But again, what Mavericks do, Maverick leaders and who have hired a Maverick team, they stop, reflect, and ask better questions. They go deep. They ask these questions not to be a pain in the beep, 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 but also to make sure that, listen, we have a commitment to get to the heart of the issue, to make sure what we're doing is correct and what we're doing is right and what we're doing is actually going to move the needle. So we believe in the art, and it is an art, of asking potent questions. It starts with your intent. If your intent is not pure, and if your intent is not for the business or for humans, everyone else, the arms are folded and you're like, oh, you're on the attack. That is not what this is. Maverick leaders believe it is their job to confront realities of their organization. Leadership does not begin with just a vision. It begins with getting people to confront the hard, true facts and the implications, and then lead them and allow your team to lead you towards the correct solution. That's Maverick. So let's start today.
We have collected, by listening to these people, creating ourselves, hundreds of questions, hundreds of questions, understanding your strategy, and actually get better prepared for your strategy. But these are the key foundational questions, and you can take them, go back to your team, do an exercise with them immediately after this conversation, and you can start answering these questions. But just to give you a little, how do they come potent? If we take question number 1, do you have a people strategy? And then people will say, yes, we have. And I've asked this question, Nicole, as well, many times. And we say, yes, we have. And then we ask, so is it documented? Nah, maybe not. When was it created? 2 years ago, or maybe 6 months ago? Have you updated it? And also, have you actually communicated this strategy to the wider team? Does the organization actually know about it? Maybe does you actually use other stakeholders, your suppliers, your investors know about this? And it's really interesting when you start asking these potent Maverick questions, it's like you're opening the doors to facts and truths that you actually are facing, the real things that you need to deal with. And that actually helps you to build the right strategy that can help you to pivot, optimize, and lead your business into a better future. And remember that these powerful questions will rock the boat sometimes. And we've seen a lot of time, and they're supposed to, because it should be uncomfortable. Because if it's not uncomfortable, you're not asking the right questions, that's for sure. And you're not going deep enough even. So give us a shout in the comments if you are planning to do this exercise with your team, or maybe some of your clients or something, and to get their views in this, because actually it probably helps you a lot if you want to change something to understand that. So let's see what's coming in here.
So the most important thing to take away is that Mavericks keep it real.
And they always seek answers through tough questions. They don't step back, and they create these strategies that their team and business actually helps them to answer the challenge they're facing, if it's within any parts of the business. And that's actually how they leverage opportunity. Martin says over here, I can see he's going to share it with his network. Can you send it afterwards, Martin? Yes, we can. Love posting questions, and know you do that. Yeah, great. We'll make sure that slides also coming out afterwards, so you can take that and take it away.
Yeah.
But then it leads us over to, when you have asked the potent questions, then you're actually ready to start putting some things in action, because you know how the world really works in the organization.
So this is one of our main promises to you in this webinar, is to talk you through the People Strategy Framework. So we want to walk you through, and we call it the 10 proven steps to creating an agile people strategy. And I think it's first off is the 10 proven steps to create a people strategy. The agile is the secret sauce and the little sprinkles of the extra what Mavericks know and do that we will share with you. So let's take it like steps within steps. Have a look at this, right? And each step in the framework allows you to plot the precise path so you can seamlessly cross that bridge from disconnected or a poor people strategy or non-existent people strategy to a business that actually, to a strategy that actually connects your people to your business strategy. And this is by actually starting to implement some of these steps, plus also we'll get into some of the kind of the meat or the foundation within each step. And that's when you can start to create the correct culture and environment that frees your people's potential on each step to create that distinctive value. So now you're probably looking at the strategy, and if you've downloaded it, you're like, well, this is nothing fancy. This is nothing new. And you're right. And that is the point. That is the absolute point, that most managers and most businesses they know all of this. You know all of this. The difference with Mavericks is this is an actual step-by-step process. It's not doing one part and then not doing the others. It's not doing recruitment, forcing, hard on in recruitment because that's what the fire is right now, and then not having an eye on training and development and succession planning and legacy planning further on the line. What the difference is that what Mavericks know and do with the same information that we all have is the difference. And that is the difference that we may be sitting with envy, that they are difference between being an okay business or a business that is just, middling along. And we know hospitality, my gosh, opening restaurants, the failure and success rates, the failure rates are horrendous. Hospitality is notoriously difficult, to be able to make a business viable and even to make it profitable. But these are the key things here. So to give you an idea, what we want to do out of these 10 steps is to share with you 2 stories. We don't have time to go through stories on each of the 10 steps, but 2 stories in 2 hotspot areas to actually bring this to life to you, to show you what Mavericks know and do is the difference, and perhaps steal some ideas. We're going to talk about clarity of purpose and direction and story underneath that. And Michael will share that story, and I will talk about a story about recruitment.
So the Singermans, people that listen to my podcast know I have a love affair for the Singermans, and I've been lucky to interview Ari, the guy on the right-hand side, 3 times. And we also written about it in our white paper. And we, what was really interesting in this research we did, and we're just coming back to step number 1, this foundational step, is that really all these leaders, founders we talked with, they had a really clear understanding of the direction and purpose of their business. There was a clarity of purpose and direction. They knew where they were going. And that was the bedrock of building a great company or team, for that sake. And they see that it's like a key responsible for them, and actually to lead this process and encourage the whole team to contribute. So it's not a leader that come and create this purpose of vision. They actually involve people in doing this. It's a very bottom-up approach. And that helps to set that clear big picture of where we're going and what is it actually we're here to achieve. And that's actually the fuel that really helped them. And many would think when I talk with them and say, is it a mission-bound task? It's very clear goals. No, it's not that. They also have goals, but that's an operational thing. And Singerman has an absolutely unique approach to the whole staircase. I'll say these are the part of the ultimative, Mavericks. They are learning their own thing. You can go and buy books, you can go on training courses with them. But they have something they call business visioning. And that's what they teach to other businesses. It's one of their key courses they're learning. And the reason why they created this was because themselves. They were started in 82, and Paul and Ari, they joined forces, started a delicatessen that became very, very, very popular. But it was in this town called Ann Arbor in Michigan, outside Detroit. And about 10 years after that, they were very successful and very busy. Then one day, actually on that bench, they sat down and actually asking the question, how can we actually continue growing and maturing in a way that ensures a positive impact on all stakeholders and in this special place they had. And the interesting thing was that they were not really looking for, a simple answer, because they actually spent a solid year of struggling and reimagining about what the future could look like by asking some really hard/potent questions that we just talked about before. And they actually found out they were not looking to be a cookie cutter business. They wanted to be something special, because they could have opened across the US, as Ari said, but that was not really the mission. The mission was really to stay in Ann Arbor and do a great thing. And they called their first vision Singerman's 2009, and for a community of businesses. And that's actually what they became. And then in 2009, they developed a new vision for, a 2020 vision. And in the middle of the pandemic, they created another vision for 2022. And those visions all come together, and you can all find them on their websites. They are publicly available. And you will find out that these are not like vision statements. They are 10 to 20 page documents about how it looks, feel to be in this organization in 10 years time and what's happened. And there's also business results, sales, and so on. And what's really a key here, and I already said it in the pandemic, is this really helped them through the hard times, because they have absolutely clarity of what needs to happen, no matter what happens in the outside world. And everybody understands what the vision is and where we are heading to going. And we are not changing that all the time. It's written into stone. That's how it is. And again, remember, it's made together with the employees. So everybody have had their say, and especially that as a managing partner. So does all this actually give business sense, or Michael just talking because he loved this kind of stuff? But actually, after 40 years in business, they built, a proud legacy of, 17 different businesses in Ann Arbor, all doing different things, from coffee to deli to travel to training, e-commerce business. And they are having about, I think there's 18 managing partners now on board, helping them lifting the business, small MDs within each business with expert knowledge. And they have $73 million in revenue, and more than 700 people that have meaningful jobs. But they stayed in one little spot in the US, Michigan, Ann Arbor. And that's, I think, is super, super interesting. So the power of purpose and clarity of direction is super important if you want to build a strategy that really can beat others. That takes us to the next story.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to, both of us are going to plead with you on the webinar, and anyone where we share this on, do not skip that first step. It is the foundation within the foundation. If you skip that clarity of purpose and direction that has your purpose, your vision, your mission, your core values and core behaviors, and if in hospitality, you may have your service or your guest experience philosophy that goes with it. If you skip articulating that and fleshing it out and documenting it and having it something, not just a document, but a living, breathing thing that feeds into the other steps, everything else is shaky. So that often it's like, let's skip that, or skip that step, or let's copy something from somewhere else that looks successful and tweak it a bit. A disaster. Take the time, make the time to actually create your own clarity of purpose and direction, and that is the foundation of everything. And that's now moving into recruitment. And this is when you create recruitment, but not as you know it. So my short story is Carlisle Bay in Antigua. And it is a story about making your recruitment strategy and hiring process match your marketing brand or your guest experience philosophy. So a little bit kind of history. Carlisle Bay, and this is Carlisle Bay and is now under different management, but let's take you back to 1996, 1998. Gordon Campbell Gray had a vision for One Aldwych Hotel in London by the Strand. And he took on the luxury establishment at the time, the Savoys, the Claridges. And he said, you know what, it's like, and he's a hotelier, and he's like, there's this stuffy, overstuffed kind of elegance, and that is very exclusive. There's time for change. So he wanted to break down that stuffy elegance that you see in the design and in terms of the service and the food and the interiors. And in his words, he wanted to create snob-free zones where everyone is treated the same, guests and staff. Revolutionary at the time. And if those of you are familiar, One Aldwych he's no longer part of One Aldwych, but I just wanted to give you a Maverick story. He's no longer part of it, but that was the foundation. And One Aldwych Hotel was one of the first contemporary luxury boutique hotels. As we understand it today, so many now followed in that and taken it to the next level, but he was the first to actually do that. And that idea of creating snob-free zones and treating guests and staff the same, that part was revolutionary at the time, and it's still revolutionary now. And that was the cornerstone and the linchpin, as he called it, for Campbell Gray Hotels. He subsequently went on to open other properties, across the globe. His second property, hey, that's where I come in, it's Carlisle Bay in Antigua, which opened in 2003. Again, now that is under new ownership and management. So as part of the opening team, I was the opening HR director of that. And that property is phenomenal. It's still beautiful. It had so many firsts. It had a 40, the first in the region, and it probably one of the few in the world that has a 45-seat cinema, movie theater in it. And the staff facilities, if anyone knows back of house functions, the staff facilities were second to none. But what he was bringing was, again, Gordon Campbell Gray said, hang on a minute, my guests that come to One Aldwych, they need somewhere to go outside of the city and in the Caribbean. So the concept of barefoot chic is what he kind of pushed and kind of created and led. And, and what that meant was, I didn't even know that this was Maverick, but that forced us to be creative. So yes, let's talk recruitment. Openings, it's mass hiring, of course, right? To build that team, to start a starting team of 300 staff. And we did the usual. We did the hiring halls. We did working with the local Hospitality Training Institute. We did the expat hiring as well. We did all of the usual stuff and the big hiring events. But one of the signature events, now this is where it's Maverick. The concept, remember, is barefoot chic. It's that contemporary and that luxury and that laid back. So one of the things that we did, we actually had a hiring event on a 60-foot catamaran. And the reason being, what we wanted to do was to make sure, as I said to you, this is where you make your recruitment, your people strategy, and your people and your employer brand match your customer or your guest brand. And you can imagine that was just the talk of the town. We had lines coming around, and that gave the staff a taste. Oh my gosh, this is actually me getting a taste of barefoot chic, but in the recruitment setting. We were still hiring. It was still competency-based questions, values questions, and we were still hiring, but it gave that taste of barefoot chic to the actual employees. And it wasn't just for managers. Again, back to that, it was for right down to core team members or line staff in the traditional sense. So one more thing about potent questions I want to throw in, and very quickly, and I'm conscious of our time, and that is One Aldwych had a saying, a tagline called, "We all do luggage." And that is something, and again, it meant that it was just to have something that is a reminder for your team that when it gets crazy, you can't remember the standards and the thousands of policies and procedures and everything else. And one tagline that gets everybody anchored to the purpose, anchored to the values, anchored to the right behaviors. And even if someone's forgetting themselves, not being helpful, we all do luggage, right? There you go. That's how recruitment can be Maverick, 60-foot catamaran in the Caribbean off the coast of Antigua.
Yeah, and actually, I just wanted me to tail off something that Thomas Barton told me from Honestberg, also called Tom Barton. He said that the name Honest in itself says everything. It's clarity of purpose and direction. We always ask ourselves this potent question: is what we're doing now honest? That's, again, a very powerful and potent question. But that's lead us nicely to the Q&A So yeah, if anyone out there, want to ask some questions about what we talked about, our goal is to help you to build, these businesses that do more than just make profit. They actually also make impact, and they are unique, profitable, and impactful. And so let's hear if there's any questions in the chat box. And
Got some here.
and we have some. I can see there's something coming in here on another channel as well, but that's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's the live audience wants to sharing with network. There's not to come in yet. So what do we have a question coming in here? Let's just see here. There's a lot. Where do I get started? That's a really good question.
Gosh, right, it is. Getting started, just that one pager that we've shared with you, and getting started starts with looking at, and even if you have it already, that clarity of purpose and direction is just to refresh that. Your purpose, your vision, your mission, and the core values is to look at that again, and also the overarching direction, the overarching business strategy. That is where you start to look at it. And it maybe it's fine, but maybe honestly, if you ask those potent questions, you will know exactly where to be able to tweak it or to change it. The potent questions, again, is setting that tone. It's about the intention. It's not about being a pain in the, it is about getting to the heart of what is required so you can make those changes. And you dig deep. Don't just ask the question and then, oh, our question is done. It's the why. It's how do you know that? It's really getting granular with those questions and listening to the feedback. Sometimes we all know it. We've been told before, your core team, your frontline team, your heart of function or heart of house teams, old school back of house, probably have where the pain points are. I'm not saying we don't do an engagement survey or staff survey. Old school, walk the floor like a hotelier, walk the floor like a restaurateur and ask those questions. You'll be surprised what that could impact your overarching strategy.
That's a really good one. And one thing I just want to add to that, Nicole, is that really interesting here. Ari, he always talk about the belief system. And what they will do when they have asked potent questions, will go back and ask themselves as leaders, what is our belief system that makes us do what we do? And what is it that we are doing that makes our people's belief system be what that is and the action they take? And then they say, okay, we need to change something with ourselves first if we want to see that change in the organization. We have a question here from for Polly. I often speak to businesses who don't know how or plain don't want to involve their people in developing their vision, culture. What would you say to them? Why should why and how should they do it?
Right. Okay. I think the first of is ask the question, why don't they want to involve their people? And and I think sometimes you can, when you go in as a, you can feel the resistance and the why not. I think it's to ask and understand what that is. And underneath that then it's the messy human emotion stuff. It's usually either they're afraid or they think it's a shortcut to get their people to, to be involved. And also, to your point and the work that you do, they're saying that they don't want, but they don't know how to capture their people, the views and the contribution of their people into the business strategy. So I think that's the first thing to do that. Again, now you have from us, it's to reference so many other Maverick companies, and it's not woo-woo, that are actually successful, making mad profit, but also making impact. And you have these examples and say, well, hang on, everyone wants to know their peers. They're actually, by doing this process, involving their people, they create a profitable business. And I'm going to be maverick about this. And for some individuals, even Polly, even with your considerable, consulting and coaching skills, sometimes then we need to know if a company or their leadership just do not want to go there, despite how many different ways, that's a different kind of situation. It's a case of you don't want to, it's being upfront with them. You will, by not involving your people, you'll only be able to develop and build your business to this point. And they need to be okay with that and paint that picture clearly. Then if you involve your people, the possibility of taking it to the next level, where most businesses run away from doing the messy people part, that is exactly the point where you'll make that create that unassailable edge in your niche, because most business run away from involving their people in their business. That's where the secret sauce and the edge comes in.
And I can almost, I don't know if I'm right, Polly, but between what you're saying, I've been there myself. You come in as a coach, consultant, and they want you to fix their people problems. And often I say, we can't fix your people problem. We can only fix the environment they're in. And if we want to fix the environment, you need to be very involved, and you need to involve your people, because else it's not going to work. It's not going to get sticky. And again, it's seen in that research we've done with the Mavericks again and again. It's the ability to look brutally in the mirror, not out of the window when things are not working, and actually do something with yourself. So lead yourself first and then lead others afterward. And the only way you can lead others is actually involving and listening to them. So 2 ears, 1 mouth in a way.
Yeah. And one last thing, you know, we've learned, and this is to share something both Michael and I've learned also to our detriment, is meet people where they are. We may want to take them further down the line, but sometimes we, as the Maverick coming in, or the Maverick to support, is sometimes we may, yes, we know they should be over here, but maybe what we need to do, it's human nature, that's too much of a stretch, is meet them where they are and then baby steps forward, and you'll get there in the long term. Meet people where they are. All right.
Yeah. Good. So what is the benefits, you know, of, you know, an agile people strategy?
Well, hopefully that answers your question, Polly. There's some of the things here that we kind of say.
Exactly. Done right will solve many of these problems.
Yeah.
And you know, get started now. That's our question. You can read yourself what it says there. Get started now before you head back into business. Take 8 minutes after this webinar and start actually reflecting and acting on some of the ideas that come out today, or maybe some of the ideas that sprang out from your own mindset. Yes, and Jim Rohn says it very nicely. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And that's what people strategy is all about, and actually have that shared understanding. So we said you should hang around.
Yeah, thank you.
And our goal with what we're doing now is actually to create this course in 2024. And we will be teaching you the principles and the inner workings and approaches used by these Mavericks you heard about today. And we will also, you know, share and give you some of our pressure tested tools and real world and relevant approaches to create people strategy, to help you that execution plan that covers all the bases. And, you know, there's a sneak peek here of what's going to happen in the course. And, you know, if you want to be a hospitality leader, there is a Maverick over time, and building this agile, resilient, and profitable and distinctive, sustainable business. It's really important you can deliver that in practical. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to help you with tons of insights and tools to get that done.
And the most important out of this is not, we are aiming to something that is practical and action planning. I've done it. I've signed up on so many courses and I just haven't completed, or I haven't created the thing out of it. What we're wanting to do with all of this, we're busy working on packaging up the value and the content that actually makes sense for the participants, and we're keeping it very small batch and artisan is the way to go. And to that potent questions, I mean, that's one of the things. We have a vault of in excess of those potent questions under each of those 10 steps that we have just found have been like, you know, skeleton keys that unlock doors to creating Maverick magic, and actually creating a people strategy that delivers business strategy.
So I've dropped in the chat box a sign up form for you to sign up for the wait list, and we will communicate with everyone on that wait list, and also we'll try in the best possible way to co-create this with also people that signed up on the wait list. Again, we need to listen to the people that we are delivering this to in true Maverick style. So the waitlist closes on the 27th of November. We're already packaging it up, and there will be more info coming. So, and more Maverick insights we will share as that. If you just want the info, sign up anyway. But we'll be back more on that.
That's it.
That's it. Thank
you
for your time. And now remember, dare to be different. Ask those questions. Go and put your people first and be Maverick.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.